Hey everybody, I'm M, CEO of the Soul Focus Group and Super Coach. Been a Super Coach for over 30 years. So excited about working with people still. I'm so thankful for that after 30 years of working with people from all walks of life, all races, all parts of the world, that I'm still excited about working with people and still helping deliver people to the other side of their magic, right? To where they can be present to their magic, use their magic, and really walk into the world with a sense of knowing that they belong, they have power, and they can create the life that they want to live. So what I want to talk to you about today is, throughout the years, one of the things that's been consistent about people that go into coaching, people who realize they need coaching in some way, they need some help with blind spots. And I don't like to use blind spots, but it's like when you're driving your car, there's an area on both side view mirrors that you're unable to see, and sometimes cars get in that area and you have a blind spot. And if you try to shift lanes, you can sometimes get in an accident because you can't see that car in that shadow spot, right? So we all have shadow spots in our life that we need someone else to help us see that shadow, because we aren't able to. It's hard sometimes to see yourself. If you notice, we are good at seeing other people. We could see what another person has to work on almost immediately. That's why most of us, and I'm talking to you, are great at giving advice, but you don't follow the advice that you give. And the reason why you don't is because ultimately you don't really believe in what you're saying, but you want someone else to buy into it. And when they buy into it and take your advice, you are often surprised at the fact that they had great results from following your advice because you didn't follow it, right? So the shift happens when you start following your advice. That's when you know that you are really, getting somewhere. So back to what I was saying about having a coach. We need coaches. I have several coaches that I work with on a regular basis to help me constantly see the shadows in my perspective, the shadows in my life that prevent me from seeing the whole picture, right? So when you have someone else to help you develop other angles of looking at things, all it is doing is helping you get to more resources in yourself. So there is no wrong question. There are just wrong answers. I'm gonna say it again. There are no wrong questions. There are just wrong answers. The only thing that can be wrong is the answer, not the question. So a good coach is all about getting you to ask the right questions, teaching you how to ask the right questions of yourself, of your life, where you're going, your journey. So I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm still excited about it. Because I'm learning so many different things. First of all, about myself, I've learned and I've grown so much in myself because there were things that I struggled to deal with. Even as a person who's a life coach, who is a super coach out working with people from all over the world, there were still things that I was still dealing with, and still today are dealing with things that come up that I didn't even know that existed within myself. And so I look for help from other people to be able to see those things in the right way. But more importantly, because of the years of doing this work, I've developed a toolbox that I can use. I can pull these tools out and immediately fix my flat tire so I don't have to stay on the side of the road for a very long period of time. So here's the thing, people. You're going to get a flat tire. You're going to have flat tires in life. I'm using that analogy. You're driving down the highway and your tire blows. You're going to need to know how to change your flat, right? And more than anything, having a coach in your life is going to teach you how to fix your flats, because you're going to have flats and you should not be ashamed of getting a flat tire. We all sometimes experience flat tires. We all sometimes experience breakdowns, but it's how to get back on the road. How long does it take you to get back on the road? How long does it take you to reset after having a breakdown, right? Because see, it's one thing to know that you could have done things differently, but it's another thing to be able to reset, get back in the car and get back on the road, right? We all need to be able to reset faster. Some of us, we go through a breakdown and we stay broke down for a while because we don't realize that it's our power to choose to get back on the road and keep going forward. We linger in the past moment. We rehash it over and over again in our minds, and we when I say we, I'm mainly talking about how our ego operates, how our ego takes over things and really gets us stuck in either the past or, worrying about the future. So here's what I wanted to talk to you about as it relates to coaching. The thing that most clients, when they first came to me, all the thousands of clients that I've worked with, there was always a theme. And the theme was they saw and thought of themselves as something being wrong with them. They were not enough. There was something that they needed to accomplish, acquire, or achieve to make themselves feel worthy. There was always a deficit that brought them into coaching. So when people would come to me, one of the first things I would tell them, and this is sometimes hard for them to receive because we live in a society that's constantly telling us in some way or another that we're not enough. Marketing and advertisement is based on the subtle suggestion that quite possibly you're not enough, but if you get this product, you will become enough. And so we are saturated with that kind of marketing, that kind of communication. And so the majority of the person, in fact, experts say 70 to 75% of the average person's thoughts are negative, means they're coming from a place of deficit. They're coming from a place of lack and scarcity. Then it's generally how we see ourselves. And what I want you to know is that what I tell my clients, and like I said at the beginning, it's hard for them to really absorb it, to accept it, is that there's nothing wrong with you. That your creation is such a precise phenomena that until we have to call you unique, I'm unique, you are unique, which means you are one of a kind, or as they say in the biblical sense, you are an only begotten. Now, only begotten means that there's none other like you. That's how precise you are. So that being the case, you are really perfect in that regard. What we are not perfect at, and where our struggles come in at, and which we struggle to see ourselves separately from our mindset and our perspective. So what is not perfect is the way we live because of our mindset and the perspective that we filter what happens in life through. So we have a perspective, and everything that's unfolding in life, we are filtering it through that perspective and through that mindset. And oftentimes the way we live is very imperfect. It's full of fault because of the way we see things. So, and what happens is we become so attached to certain perspectives. There are some of us that will go to the grave. We are married to certain perspectives and we won't change those perspectives. Matter of fact, we are afraid to even hear another perspective or another view on certain issues. When it comes to religion, we don't want to hear another view. Sometimes when it comes to politics, we don't want to hear another view. We are so married to the perspective that we have that we are afraid to see things from another angle. Now, what is wrong with seeing things from another angle? Nothing. But there is a challenge that comes with seeing things from another angle, is that it will challenge you to ask different questions and it will challenge you to think differently. So when you come in for coaching, what immediately starts to happen is your perspective is challenged. You are given a new perspective, a different perspective, and that different perspective, it causes you to ask yourself different questions about the situation, about the circumstance, and that begins to pull out different resources out of yourself that you didn't even know that it exists. Not only does it pull resources out of you, it empowers you to see resources in the world that you didn't see before. And so now you have to recalibrate your thinking so that you can take advantage of those resources in yourself and those resources out in the world. So I want to say this again. There is nothing wrong with you. When you come in for coaching with me, we do not work on changing you. In fact, we work on assisting you, supporting you, being more of you, expressing more of your authentic self than ever before. But what we do work on changing is your perspective and your mindset. When your mind is in alignment with your best of you, man, you're talking about some beautiful stuff. Because if you started seeing yourself from the eyes of your soul, you would see that your soul sees you as a perfect work of art. You are a perfect work of art. That's why there's only one like you on the planet. Out of billions and billions, you're the only one. And I know you've heard this before. This is not something new to you. but I'm letting you know my point of focus. And when you come into coaching with me, you're coming in to receive, to learn how to develop another perspective and a different mindset. A mindset is like a thermostat in your house. You set your thermostat on to create a certain temperature in your house. That's what the mindset is. Whatever your mindset creates the temperature in your life, the temperature in which you are set on. And some of us need to change our mindset. We need to change our temperature. I'm M, Super Coach, CEO of the Soul Focus Group. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Peace.